Morning.
Morning. Information. Today, I'm going to start on Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis 33b. Ibaylahu. Are there two Ibaylahus here? No, the first one was Bayimine. So you have to go down about, let's see, maybe 13 lines. Ibaylahu. Okay. Thank Hashem that we're able to enter every day. It's first of all learning Shah this Mikdash immediately. Learning also for Shlim from father and for Naftali Ben Bela and for Uriel Gabriel Ben Rachel Chaya. Okay. Gemara starts like this. Ibaylo. The yeshiva had a question. If someone has sherry casks, wine barrels that was used for idolatrous wine, right? So those barrels are not kosher. Problem is, that's the problem, but the solution is maybe you put something into it that maybe will ruin the taste of the wine. So to put other wine into it would be a problem. What about to put beer into it? So Rav Nachman, Rabbi Yehuda, Asri, Rav Ashari. Rav allows it. Says it's not a problem. Looks like from the note, looks like the halacha is like Rava. Ravina Shari Leila Rav Chia Breder Rab Yitzchak Mirim Bashechra. Ravina actually allowed to Rab Chia, the son of Rab Yitzchak, to put beer into the wine barrels. Also Rama Bechamra. One time, when he was doing this, he actually put wine into it instead. But that didn't stop. He didn't say that, okay, now I have a problem. You see, sometimes if you allow beer, then you might end up allowing wine. Mistakes happen. That was just a mistake, and that doesn't mean that we should forbid it. Does this shed any light on the whiskey? Taisha says the same thing would be water in the wine barrels. It doesn't have to be specifically beer. Anything other than wine. No, that's what it looks like. Yeah, the halacha there. It says containers that have been prohibited as a result of storing Gentiles' wine may be used to hold beer and other beverage temporarily, provided that one rinses off the residual wine found on the vessel. The halacha is in accordance with the ruling of Ravina. Okay, where Ravina would that allowed it. Let's see, some commentaries explain that the question is whether or not beer is similar to brine and fish, and that its bitterness can be used to expunge the absorbed wine. That's not what Taisvus is saying. Taisvus is saying that it's any liquid. Others contend that the question is whether beer is similar to water, or whether it may not be placed in the jug at all due to the concern that one might pour wine into it instead, as in fact occurred in the episode of Val Rabchia. That's the Ravid. One cannot use the wine of a Jew to render the vessel, as wine does not expunge the taste of other wine. Okay, very good. The next Gemara says like this: Rabbi Yitzchak bar Bisna Havale Hanumani de Pakusna. He had these, you have china. China could be made out of all types of things. Anyway, this type of china was made out of dung. I don't think they called it china. It was, anyway, must have been dried out and it turned into, it hardened and it could be used as a vessel.
I think maybe China has improved. But originally.
So he had these vessels. And there was yayin nesach in it. Well, what did he do with it? Malinu maya. He filled it with water. And you put it in the sun. Now, we learned before that if you want to make kosher a vessel that was used for cold, so you fill it with water for 72 hours, and every 24 hours you switch the water. So that's what he did. He switched the water. The only problem is that he put it in the sun, and for some reason in the sun they burst. The vessels burst. Amalei Rav Abba. Rav Abba says, this is sort of a sarcastic comment. He said, I guess he made it prohibited forever. Basically, they burst. You can't use it. The rabbi said that you fill it with water. But they say you have to put it in the sun. See what's going on now? You want to use this Gemara? It's up to the right page. Yeah, but this I assume that he sealed it. I don't know why it burst. I'm thinking that maybe that it was sealed and then it expands and it. Is that possible?
It's heat expansion. It sounds like it because it
Right.
burst.
Does he say why it burst?
I leave like a water bottle.
It doesn't say that.
A water bottle in the car.
It'll fill up and yeah. Okay.
At least in South Florida.
So, who was telling him? Someone was telling him. Rabbi Abba was telling him. Rabbi Yitzchak. He said that you overdid it. You were supposed to fill it with water, but you weren't supposed to put it in the sun. Amar Rab Yusna, Amar Rabami. Kli neser ainli tare lamis. Now, kli neser we're going to see in a minute, but neter kalim can never be kosherized. My kli neser, what is kli neser? Amar Rab Yosef Yibaravin kli machpeira shel trif. It's a vessel which is made from, Rashi says it's something called alum, and in Ashkenaz it's called baisa. Alum is a chemical. Natron vessels. Vessels made of natron are exceptionally absorbent and therefore can never be permitted once they have held Gentile wine in accordance with the opinion of Rabami. That was the halacha part. Neter in the background. Natron is a mixture of sodium carbonate that occurs naturally in colorless deposits in desert plains, though in ancient times it was often produced from seaweed. The Gemara here indicates that people would craft vessels from earth mixed with natron that they would excavate together with alum. Since the substance dissolves in water, there's no way to purify vessels constructed from it. Well, that's why. Because of the water, it would ruin it. Huh.
Yeah, then how they send this to shoppers. Just to pay and that
It gives you the chemical. Na2CO3 H2O 10 H2O. Interesting.
All I remember is H2O water.
Okay. So where are we holding? So apparently natra is made from alum, and you can't kosher it. The Bay Parzak Rufila, the house of Parzak Rufila means that he was a second in command to the king. Anasani Kubi Pumpadisa. He had confiscated these vessels from Pumpadisa. Rama Buchamri put in it wine. Ajunan Alaya, and then he returned it. Also Shalul Rav Yehuda, the people came to Rav Yehuda. They said, "What do we do with it now?" Strafed up our kalim. Amar Davershin Machnis Lakiyamu. Those vessels that you have, those kuvi, people don't put in it for long time storage. They'd only use it for drinking. And so Meshachshacham b'mayim v'hem mutarim. For that, you don't even have to fill it for 72 hours. You just have to rinse it. It's not a problem. You rinse it out and it's clean.
But did it?
Yeah, that's a good question. How long is Machnisa Lakiyim? I don't know.
Maybe the same.
Probably similar to kavash pickling, which is 24 hours. Say here. Say. Okay, that's what we mentioned, that when it comes to using cups in like a hotel lobby or something, you don't store things in there. They drink from it. They wash it out. So you can, it becomes kosher just by washing it. Yeah, unless you have that stringency that maybe whiskey was used in it. You're going to drink whiskey. Whiskey gets absorbed quicker, and it could be a chumrah. I'm not sure. Okay. Amar Rav Avira. Ravira says, "Hani chatz v'shchimi darmai." These, it's made out of like a red clay. Rusha, Rusha. So Rashi says, I guess rouge is French for red, right? Rouge, or is that rosé? How do you say red in French? Rosé or rouge?
I always
Which one?
The rosé like pink. At least when it comes to drinks, when they say
Right.
rosé is pink.
So it's made out of this red, I guess, red earth. They get the different colors of clay from the different minerals in the earth. Places the clay is different colors.
In Cuba, they have like the red dirt. I was surprised, like in Orlando, like in Pocoy area, there's like mountains there, and they have red clay also. Usually, at least in Cuba, they grow potatoes.
In them. Yeah. That's interesting. But they get red potatoes out of the red.
No, you see the trucks, like anything that gets near those red fields.
So, given Leibali Tuba, since it doesn't absorb a lot, this type of clay, so the same thing would apply to this. You just have to rinse it. It would be mutter. It sounds like even if it's machnisa l'kiyim, even if it was used for storage, because it doesn't really absorb. Amar Rav Papi says, Hani pasvata debei michsi. This type of earthenware vessels of Bei Michsi, that was the name of a place where the soil was very hard. And given Leibali Tuva, since it wouldn't really absorb, all you would have to do is rinse it, and then you would be allowed to use it for kosher. In other words, talking about you're getting vessels that are already used, like a garage sale. If you want to buy used vessels, then how do you kosher them? So certain vessels, you just have to rinse them, and they're good because they don't really absorb, especially if they're only used for cold. That's what we're saying now. Kasiya, these are cups. Ravasi Asar, Ravashi Shari. Problem is, these are earthenware cups. Earthenware cups. On one hand, it's just a cup. You don't use it for storage, so it shouldn't absorb. On the other hand, it's earthenware, and it does absorb. So that becomes a machlekes. Ravasi takes the strict opinion, and Ravashi takes the lenient opinion. I love when it does this because it makes it easy to remember. Because the Ravasi with the samach is asar. He makes it prohibited. And Ravashi with the shin, shari, he makes it permissible. So it makes it easy to remember this machlekes. Well, who used it first? See, because it does have a little bit of absorption in it. So if a non-Jew used it first, then you're done. It's aser, because the first time it gets used, that's when most of the absorption takes place. So then it was filled up with non-kosher wine. Keep pligi b'pam sheni. The machlikas is if it was first used for the Jew and the non-Jew used it second. Now, do we say that it had any absorption? So, do we say that it absorbed it all because the absorption that it had the first time filled it up? All the pores that are in it are already filled with kosher wine. Ikadamri that
The shin is open.
yeah.
It's almost closed.
Very nice. Ikadamri that does it say pan mishim v'sheni koliyam lefigadasa keep pan gimel. Some say that no, it had to be used twice in order to absorb. Okay. Hilchasa nalachas pan mishim v'sheni aser gimel mutter. If a Jew used it twice and the third time it was used by a non-Jew, that's not a problem. We're talking about earthenware cups. This is before they would glaze them. Now, when we have clay mugs, or you have ceramic, glaze it. If it wasn't glazed, then it would absorb. Not glazed would look like the flower pots. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the flower pots. You leave them, they start to turn brown, like because the water and thing they absorb, and then it was used with anything oily. It's finished. That's why on Hanukkah it says, if you have a clay menorah, you can only use it once because it becomes disgusting after the first time the oil is in it. But if you glaze it, then it's not considered. It doesn't have the same absorption. Okay, Amar Zvid, Haimani de Kunya Chivra v'Uchme Shari. Here we talk about the glaze. In those days, they would glaze it with lead, which is not the healthiest thing, but that's the way they do it. I think they assume that these Chinese kings, they would die very young. They think that they were drinking sake and lead things, and it would affect their health. Let's take a look over here.
One way to get rid of it.
What does he say? No, that was not intentional. That's because they were rich. The Gemara apparently is referring to a vessel that's been coated with some type of colored glaze. Various glazes were made from different materials, and therefore the kind of glaze used would affect the amount of liquid that the container could absorb. He says kunya means dust or sand, used to refer to vessels covered with glaze, lime, or stucco. Rashi says that it's lead. Lead.
Tosfos.
But you have from Tosfos? Really?
Oh, it is this one.
I don't have the article.
So Tom citing Tosfos is searching for glass was made. The glaze is made of glass. Glaze, glass.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Silicon.
Okay. So we get the different colors here. It goes like this. If the glaze was white or black, right? Uchma is black, white or black, then it's permissible. Probably doesn't absorb much. However, if it's Yeruka, if it's green, then it's Aser, Mishum, Dimitzrif. Now, Dimitzrif means that it contains the lead that we spoke about before, the alum. It contains the alum, which was a problem. Sorry?
It sounds like aluminum.
I don't know what the alum is. You have to Google.
So for instance, the first one in the periodic chart.
No. That's
Luminous.
Periodic chart.
Luminous earth space. Mixed with
that's
lead.
would be hydrogen.
Ability to absorb.
V'yesbu kartufni, and if it has cracks, kulu asiri. I'm sorry. Then everything is also. What do they say over there?
He said back.
Won't penetrate.
Aluminous,
Aluminum.
containing alumina or aluminum. Oh, so it is associated with aluminum.
Is aluminum is a metal. How would
1
they-
second. You're looking up aluminous. I want to look up alum. Alum, a colorless astringent compound that is hydrated double sulfate of aluminum and potassium used in solution medicinally and in dyeing and tanning.
Tanning and this,
Is alum short for
luminous?
yes, alum is short and informal way to refer to aluminous. Oh, so it's the same thing.
In this case, it
But we
says
do need these minerals.
No, that's okay. That's alumni. That's something else. Okay. So we spoke about the different colors here. And then we say that if it has cracks, then it's usher. Now, if you noticed, Rav Zvid said that white and black is permissible to use. Dorish Mareimar. Mareimar taught. Kunya bein Uchma bein Chivra bein Yeruka Shari. Mareimar is more lenient than Rav Zvid. He says it doesn't matter whether it's white, whether it's black, whether it's green. All of those are mutter. We said before the green was usher. Mishnah, the Gemara asks on Mareimar, Mishnah mechametz bepesach t'boim minei Mareimar. What's the difference between chametz? They asked Mareimar the following question. You have to hold on to the question that they asked about chametz, and then we're going to contradict it to what we say about the wine. They asked Mareimar the following: Hani mani the kunya, these kunya vessels. Ma'al l'shtamsh b'pischa. Are you allowed to use it on Pesach? We're talking about earthenware that's glazed with lead. Yeruka, he says, if it's green, if it's green, then we know that it contains the alum, and therefore it's going to absorb, and it's going to be aser. Our question about Pesach was about the white and the black. If there's cracks in it, then we know that it's going to absorb because it's going to get straight into the earthenware. What about if it's smooth? Shia means smooth. Amalahu. So Merema responded, I've seen that it sweats. I guess it means that you put it the food in one side and the moisture you see on the other side. So if it's sweating, obviously it's absorbing. And once it absorbs, you know that you can't get it out. There's a rule in the Torah regarding, hey, maybe this week's parsha. It's about the vessels. This week's parsha, that the vessels, you can't get rid of the absorption in the earthenware vessels, only in the copper vessels. So anyway, so then it's going to be usher. So the Torah testifies that earthenware vessels can never be cleansed. So now, so now we heard Marimar's psak about chametz on Pesach, that you can't kosher kunya vessels, even if they're black or white, which was the different type of glaze. Officially, those glazes were better. Nevertheless, he says he can't kosher them. So why do you say by the wine that it's permissible? So let's take a look at the answer. It says, Maishna mi yayin esach, darsh merema kula mani d'kunin shari. By yayin esach, merema teaches that it's all permissible. Maybe we can answer chametz deraisa yayin esach derabanan. We're more strict about chametz because that's a deraisa. Yayin esach, we're thinking over here that it's not really yayin esach. We're thinking that it's just a decree because of yayin esach, thinking that it's stam yenam. You can't take non-kosher wine because maybe the non-Jew poured it, not because he did, but because maybe. That maybe is a rabbinic decree on all non-Jewish wine, right?
Before served at a table.
Talking about wine that was made or handled by a non-Jew. We're concerned that maybe he poured it. So we don't any wine.
If there's a shliach at a restaurant, then a non-Jew can pour the wine at the table.
No. That would only be wine that would not be able to be poured. That would only be like bushel wine. It would have to be special wine. Regular wine that's not mevushal, right? So anyway, so what we're learning now is that maybe the reason why Marimar was strict by chametz was because that's a biblical law. Why was he lenient by the wine? Because that's a rabbinic law. It says I can't say that. We all call the tikkun rabban ken deraisa tikkun. The rabbis try to keep everything to the same standards that the biblical law would be. So the Gemara answer is zet tashmish v'chametz zet tashmish v'tzayin, and this is what we were looking for, because chametz is hot and it absorbs. The wine is cold. And so when it comes to koshering, something was cold. That's like the first question you ask. Was it hot or cold, right? So when it comes to koshering, because it's used with cold, then it's no problem. You're able to what did we say you have to do? You just rinse it, right? Did we say you rinse it, or did we say that you do the 72 hours?
Yesterday was a 72 hours. Today they said
They go
about the
faster.
rinse.
Yeah, because it depends what type of vessel it is. If it was a vessel that was used for storage, then it would be 72 hours. If it's a vessel that was used for just quickly, then it would just be rinsing. Unless there's some exceptions to this.
Earlier when it says about sweating, I think like it's a condensation. Is it condensation or is it
Condensation
it's going
wouldn't
to-
mean sweating, because condensation is the moisture in the air. That's not sweating. That's not what happens when something's cold. The condensation in the air collects on a soda can. Sometimes it's not because the soda's going through.
Yeah. So that's
Here
why-
we're talking about that it's going through. Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't tell you anything. Condensation is it could be on your glasses. Doesn't mean it's
Vessel really sweats. The moisture comes from within the vessel.
means is that you're seeing the absorption on the outside. It's getting through. It would be like the paper plates that after your first slice of pizza, you look at the bottom and it's getting greasy
That's from the contents that was in it.
from the contents that are in it.
So that sweat.
Yeah.
It's not really sweat,
Okay, fine.
This-
That's body sweat.
but it's from the contents.
Body is not.
From the contents, sweating from the contents. Just like sweat comes from the contents,
Right.
so too the sweat of the vessel comes from the contents
Of
You're
the
wise
food
guy.
that's
of the
in it.
food that's in it.
Wise guy. No.
Metaphor doesn't work.
The sweat comes from the person. It doesn't come from the outside.
That's right. So
So
how could a glass, or I mean, a earthenware vessel sweat?
Oh, stop.
Because of what's
Stop.
inside it.
It's really from
Yes.
the clay.
No, not from the clay.
From the
From
stuff that was
what's
put
put
inside.
inside it.
It's like
We're
it's
gonna make
bleeding through.
words.
Like I just like, I'm not used to it because we have glazed things, so it doesn't go through it. But this wasn't glazed.
But the sweat is on the outside of the cup or on the
Yeah, on
inside?
the outside.
You're telling me that because there was a stuff on the inside, it went into the clay and came out the outside. It's sweat
Exactly.
with food, going through the pores.
Went
And all
through
that
the
stuff.
pores all the way through it. Yeah.
Right.
Is that believable?
Try to fill up a clay pot.
It has
It's
to be
like
glazed.
that's not glazed. See what happens.
Oh.
I'm sure now the clay there,
Somebody do it.
it's probably better. They have machines that could fine it and all of that.
But still, they would absorb everything. It's not
Right.
glazed.
Okay, we're holding now Rabbi Akiva. There's a different version to this Gemara in Tainus, I think. But here it says Rabbi Akiva ikla leginzik. Rabbi Akiva, yeah, Tosfos mentions that Rashi in Tainus says that it's not Rabbi Akiva, it's Marukva. It says Chas v'shalom that this should be Rabbi Akiva. But Tosfos says no, it's not a problem, it's Rabbi Akiva. Okay, so anyway, Rabbi Akiva goes to Ginzek, it's a place. They asked him the following question. Now, Rashi explains that we're talking about where a person didn't eat breakfast. And then he said, you know what, I didn't eat half the day already. Let me fast the rest of the day. So is that considered a real fast? Now, the question is, does it become like a nether? Or is it not a nether? Because there's nothing. Fasting means a whole day, not a half a day. Just the fact that he didn't eat breakfast. Now, if a person says that he's not going to eat for a few hours, so that wouldn't be a tinus, because that tinus would mean to afflict himself. So it would have to be something significant, right? It's not like now I'm fasting because the last few minutes I didn't take a drink. So that's not a fast. Fast means that it's significant. So he didn't eat breakfast. In the middle of the day, he says, I'm not going to eat the rest of the day. Is that considered a fast? Well, that's a question they asked Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva didn't know the answer. This is probably why Rashi doesn't want it to be Rabbi Akiva. Vessels of a non-Jew, of an idolater, are you allowed to use them or not? He didn't know the answer. What clothing did Moshe use during the inauguration when Moshe was the one that was doing the service in the tabernacle? What clothing did he wear? He couldn't have worn the clothing of the Kohen. He wasn't a Kohen. Moshe was a Levi. Rabbi Akiva didn't know the answer. Also, Shal ben Midrash, he came to the base Medrash. Amri, they told him all the answers. They said, first of all, if a person in the middle of the day says that he wants to fast the rest of the day, it's counted. In Hishlam, then if he does fast, he adds an extra prayer for a fast day. No, this extra prayer, the Anenu prayer, we say in a fast day. Next thing is that vessels that were used by a non-Jew after 12 months become permissible.
Oh.
You don't have to do anything. So when do you have to do the water for 72 hours? That's only if you want to use it within the 12 months. Actually, if people have expensive china that they got from their grandparents and stuff like that, they weren't sure that they kept kosher. There's a lenient view that holds that after 12 months you're allowed to use it.
Now you tell
Yeah, so they put it in there, they use it only on Pesach. It's kosher and they didn't use it. It was so precious that they wouldn't use it any other time.
Yeah, but you can use it. If you have it, you could use it year round because you waited 12 months. Sometimes you wait 60 years. But you wait 12 months since it's been used last, and then it becomes permissible.
Even for Pesach?
Even for Pesach, I'm not sure. But I think so. I'm not sure.
We had
I'm not
Pesach
sure. You have to ask
Rabbi
your
Smith
Rav.
doesn't
You have to ask her. Pesach may
Rabbi
be
Smith doesn't
restricted.
hold that as
We had Pesach
Is that true what he
They
said?
were handed
because he
down.
broke his place.
No, it's brought down in the Paiskim. I saw it in the.
He broke his place.
Okay.
But they weren't kosher. They weren't kosher. They didn't keep kosher.
If they didn't keep kosher, but it's
They just
sometimes
used
the
Pesach
place.
on Pesach, but they don't think they sure they didn't keep kosher.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's why they waited a year because he didn't keep kosher
And then
last Pesach. So this Pesach they can use it again for not kosher. Okay. Now what did Moshe use? He wore one white cloak. I heard Rabbi Ginsburg said word echad is aleph, ches, and daled. Those are the different clothing that the Kohanim wore. The ches is the Kohen Gadol had 8 garments. Ches is Gematria 8. The regular Kohen had 4 garments. That's a daled. And the aleph is Moshe wore chaluk echad lavan. He wore one cloak.
Do that to Rabbi.
No, I heard it on the tape. When tapes used to exist. Rav Kana Maslim B'chalak Lavan Shem B'Yimra. Rav Kana says that it's talking about a cloak that doesn't have a hem. Now, the concern with the hem, Rashi mentions, is that someone says the concern with the hem is because Yesh Aimer, that they shouldn't suspect Moshe from taking anything, but have a hem, you could hide some of the jewels in the hem. And Rashi says Lav Milsa. That doesn't make sense because Moshe wasn't doing he wasn't there when the items were around before they were built in. Moshe it was already constructed. Moshe was doing the service in a fully constructed. There was nothing to take. Okay. Let's take a look at the next Gemara. Itzmar. Yeah. To show because people would suspect. People said. Oh, so okay, we're holding by Chatzanav Azagim Shalev Chachavim. This is the peels and the pits of a non-Jew. So what happens with that? That becomes prohibited, right? And it's prohibited to have benefits from. Let's take a look. The Mishnah said, "Asurim the Isurin Israna." That's the words of Reb Meir. The Chachamim say it depends. If they're still moist, then they're aser, and if they're dry, then they're mutter. Back, the Mishnah was on 29b. We quote from that Mishnah. The peels and the pits of the non-kosher wine. Lachin, if it's still moist, it's asur in yeveshim. If it's dry, then it's mutar. Hainu lachem. When is it considered moist? Hainu yeveshim. When is it considered dry? How wet is wet? How dry is dry? Amar Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. Lachem, wet, is called Yud Beis Chodesh, the first 12 months. Yeveshim, dry, is Lach Yud Beis Chodesh after 12 months. Now, okay. Itmar, we have a statement like this. Statement of Amram. Amar Rabba Bar Bachana Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabba Bar Bachana says in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Shem Asurim, when they're prohibited, Asurim Afil Bana. Shem Mutarim, Mutarim Afil Ba'achila. If they're prohibited, then you can't have benefit from them. If they're permitted, you can even drink it. You can even eat it. What's this chiddush? That's the Mishnah. I don't know.
It's either all or nothing.
It's all or nothing, yeah. Amar Rav Zvid. Rav Zvid said, Haider dayed the chamra darmai.
It says is that it's prohibited even as a fuel for planting, like a child.
And when it's prohibited, you can't even have benefit from it, which means not only to eat, but you can't even use it for something else. So, or even to give it as a gift or something. That's Asr Bahana. That's the Taich of Asr Bahana. Okay, Rav Zid says, Haider dayed the chamra darmai. This is the dregs in the wine, like the sediment in the wine. So he says the sediment of a non-kosher wine, sorry, permissible after 12 months. It's a little surprising.
Before we said what the vinegar is something that was prohibited, doesn't become.
You're right. So Tosfos over here mentions. He says that's because you used it already. You mixed it with water to make new wine. They would have a type of wine called temed, and temed was the dregs of the wine soaked in water, and that would give a flavor to the water. And if you did that several times, so then there was no original wine left in it. And that's why it would become permissible. Amar Rav Chaviva Barei de Rav Hani Gulfi Basachech Yarchi Shata Shari. What would Gulfi? Gulfi was some type of jug. After 12 months, it's permissible. Amar Rav Chaviva. Rav Chaviva says again. Hani after the taya Basachech Yarchi Shata Shari. After the taya is a canteen. It's made out of leather, and it was the merchants that were on the road would have it, and they could fill it with wine. And because it would stay there, the wine would sit in it for a long time. So you would need to wait 12 months in order for it to be kosher.
Like a camel's back.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. What's it called? It's called camel's back?
Yeah, it's like a little bag that they drink.
So, Amaravacha, Breder Ravika, Hani Purtsini Dharma. Purtsini is also the peels of the grapes. Shari. Probably Tosfos would say the same thing here. These cups that are black or red, after 12 months, it's permissible. I guess because the way that they absorb. What is he excluding? Because he said before, now Purtsini says here is the Psela Shel Anachim. Kusna was the dung one.
Color changes. Like when you get older, the color changes. That's why.
Okay. Okay. The next thing that we had in the Mishnah was regarding fish brine. Now, the fish brine, there were two types. There was tzir, and then there was morius. Now, morius is the inside of the fish. Now, what did we say about it? Said morius ugvinas besukiani is asurim. It's asur, and it's asur ba'ana. The Chum say it's not asur ba'ana. it's fish oil. Rashi says shemen shel dagim. Tana Rabbanan. Tana Brisa Murius mutter. Murius uman mutter. That murius of a professional is permissible. Seems to contradict the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that it's usher. So the explanation for this would be that Mishnah wasn't talking about an uman, a professional, a craftsman. It was just like someone that did it in his house. Now, there's two concerns here. One concern is that maybe the fish wasn't kosher. Second concern is maybe they added wine. Rashi explains that you don't have to worry about the fish being not kosher because the non-kosher fish, they don't make murius from. It's not part of the ingredients. They don't get this oil from the non-kosher fish. Problem is, what about the wine? Did they add wine into it? So he says you don't have to worry about that either. If it's an uman, he doesn't mix wine. A craftsman, he doesn't mix wine into it. They make it different when they sell it than when you make it in the house. Rabbi Yehuda ben Gamliel Mishum Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel. Okay, it sounds like a brother. Af chilek uman mutter. Chilek is a type of kosher fish, very small fish. It's called sultanas. When they're young, they don't have fins and scales.
Whoa.
However, when they get bigger, you can see them. So really, you can't buy it from a non-Jew because it could be that the non-kosher fish are mixed in. However, if it's a professional who knows how to take out the non-kosher fish don't taste as good. They ruin the flavor. So the professional says, "Afchilikuman mutter." You don't have to worry about the non-kosher fish being there because the professional can take it out and he doesn't want it there. Tani Avim Breder Rabavo Muryasuman mutter. Avimi the son of Rabavo, taught that murius of a professional, the fish oil is permissible. Hutani Lavu Amarlai, he taught it, and he says, Pamrishan Risheni is mutter, Shlishi Aser. See, what they would do is they would take the insides of the fish, and they would take water and salt, and they would put it on it, and then the oil would seep out from the fat,
Delicious.
and they would get the oil. Now, the first time they used when they did this the first time, they put the oil they put the salt and the water on it, so it would pull out the oil. So then they wouldn't have any other ingredients, it would be pure. The second time also would be pure. The third time they would already have to add other ingredients. It might be added wine into it. That would be a problem. Shlishi Yasser, my timer. First two times when they did this and they got the oil out, so they wouldn't need to add wine. But afterwards, they would add wine into it, and then that would be a problem because non-kosher wine would ruin the oil. Who arbor the maraisa? You wanted to say something?
No problem with this fish that was not kosher.
No. The contrary. The fact that it has fins and scales later means that it was kosher the whole time. It doesn't become kosher. You don't need to have the fins and scales there its entire life. If it has fins and scales at one point, then we know it's a kosher fish. It's a sign that it's a kosher fish. Problem is, show me the fins and scales, but we know that you have to wait till it ages. Okay, I think they have some machlekes in about different fish that throw their scales off when they get out of the water. Swordfish.
That's certainly saves kosher.
Jewfish.
Conservative.
Is there a Jewfish that's maybe not kosher? Is it kosher?
Huge. It's a huge fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got, that's what's.
Show me the size.
Oh, really?
Professor.
Okay.
They put it on the wall.
That's the one that got away.
Who arba the maraisa? There was a boat that was carrying fish oil. The asil and amile, the akum. It came into, this is like the codfish oil. That came into the port of Akko. Rabbi Abba the min Akko naturi bada. Rabbi Abba of Akko put a mashkiach. Amalei Rava. Rabbi tells him, Adi idna manoche. Why are you putting a mashkiach now? Who was watching the oil the whole time when it was brought from who knows where? Amalei Adi idna l'man nechashla. L'may nechashla. Until now, what are you worried about? Imishim devar chamra. Are you worried that they're going to mix wine into it? Kista de maraisa baluma, kista de chamra bedalad lumi. The places where it's coming from. a little bit of fish oil cost a zuz. A little bit of wine cost 4 zuz. So they would never add expensive wine into fish oil. However, over here, where the wine is cheaper than the fish oil, they would add wine into the fish oil.
What do you use the fish oil for? Cooking or lighting or what?
I think mothers told the kids that if they take 1 spoonful every night, then they'll get an allowance.
Omega-3s.
Amalei Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Zera, Dilma Idi Tzurasu. Maybe it came by the place of Tzur, Tyre, with the wine. It went by Tyre. The Shavu Chamra, that over there the wine is cheap also. Amalei Hasam, Akuli, Pashuri, over there you can't get into the port of Tyre because there's currents that are difficult to pass through. Tyre had a port, but maybe the season was different. Vina space Nike. Actually, let's leave it by the Vina. We'll stop over here.
Oh.
I have to tell something once you shut it off.
Do we have to turn this off? We're going to hear something.
No, something.